Hey guys, I'm making this video as kind of a part two for a video I posted 2 days ago when I was responding to Brandon Tatum's his opinion on rap music. And basically his opinion, his conclusion was rap music was destructive for society and that no one should listen to it. And I really thought the things he was saying in the video were obviously kind of stupid, but apparently they're not, because a lot of people agree with them, right? So let's kind of go through this, and maybe I'll try to be a little clearer with my points now. So one of the points I was trying to make is that no matter what type of music you listen to, whatever genre of music you listen to, you're going to have music that's positive, you're going to have music that's negative, you're going to have music where they talk about themes that may or may not be liked in general society. Like you can have any type of music, rock, country, where they talk about violence, where they talk about being a criminal. And I actually gave an example of a song by Johnny Cash where he talks about tying his lover to a gun and shooting her with a submachine gun. Why does this seem to be disproportionately prevalent in rap music? Well, it's because that's what the market demands. You can see the production of rap. You can see the music that was produced in the genre of rap, or rap that's been produced over the decades, and you see this trend where it in the early 1990s it leaned toward this basically gangster rap, and there were rappers who observed this and didn't like the direction of it. The example I gave was "I Used to Like Her" by Common, where he comments on this, and this actually created a beef between him and Ice Cube. That doesn't mean that the more progressive, less misogynistic, less violent rap went away. In fact, when I was in high school and college, there was actually kind of a renaissance of kind of, I want to say smart rap, I'll say conscientious rap. You had guys like Mos Def, Talib Kweli, De La Soul was still producing things, Jurassic 5, Dead Prez. I'm not a rap person. I had these albums, but there are, as I said in my previous video, there are people who are huge fans of rap, and they can go through this. So conscientious rap had a resurgence in the late 90s, but it never really got the airplay that the gangster rap got. But kind of one of those musicians who kind of came from this subgenre of rap was actually Kanye West. If you listen to a lot of early Kanye West songs, he does talk about kind of social issues, crack music. If you listen to that album. And a lot of the people he collaborated with, they were of that conscientious track. So this still exists. The reason you don't hear that as much, because basically that's not the demand of the market. I am going to tell you something. Bluegrass is still being made. Jazz is still being made. Jazz was much bigger in the 40s and 50s. It played on mainstream radio. You don't hear it as much now except for NPR and specialized jazz stations, because it doesn't have the demand it wants anymore. So I am not saying that rap isn't disproportionately, I'll say, kind of vulgar, but to say that all of rap is vulgar, this is disingenuous. There is plenty of intelligent, thoughtful, poetic rap. It's not hard to find. I feel for certain people, I could spend the next 10 minutes going down musicians from the past and even current, and it really wouldn't matter, because even in that video, I gave the example of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. I think I may have gave examples of A Tribe Called Quest. Tatum isn't that much younger than me. I think he's about 6 or 7 years younger than me. So he would have been aware of this music, of this conscientious form of rap. He tries to make this connection that he was this violent, thug because of the music. He was what he was because that's who he was. It wasn't the music. I listen to groups like Mos Def, or I should say Black Star, which was, I bought the Black Star album, which was the Mos Def Talib Kweli collab, and then continued to buy Mos Def and Talib Kweli, and then continued to buy the Roots, because that's the type of person I was. And I also bought some of the more kind of, like, I guess you could say, vulgar, raunchy stuff. The other point, and I'm addressing what Officer Tatum or Brandon Tatum or whatever the hell you want to call him, he's making this claim that rap is destroying the community. And my point was simply this. If you have the majority of rap being consumed by middle-class people, right? Why is it not destroying their community? Here's what you can do. And before you comment to me, observe, like, really take in the facts here. Because unlike him, where he starts with the video and says, I didn't read any books, I'm going from my experience. Well, I'm doing two things here, guys. I am bringing my experience, but I'm also bringing facts. And you can look these things up. If you go from about 1979 to present day, you'll notice these trends. Within rap music, rap has become more and more popular, where it is now ubiquitous. In the early history of rap, they thought it was going to be just kind of a fad, think like disco, but that clearly hasn't happened. The other trend is this: crime. Crime was increasing in the 70s through the 80s to the 90s, and then sometime in the 90s, despite the predictions, started decreasing. So if you start looking at the trends from the mid 90s till now, you'll see two things are occurring. Rap is becoming more popular and crime is decreasing. Now, in the past 2 years, there's been a bit of a spike, and some of that is attributed to the pandemic. But even taking that into consideration, it's still much lower than it was several decades ago. So according to him, and this shouldn't be happening because of rap. Rap is destroying the community, yet crime is going down. And by the way, this is a trend across the U.S. If you look at high crime areas, low crime areas, the crime was still higher several decades in the past. So whenever you have somebody say these things, I'm telling you these facts, right? You ask yourself, what is their motivation? Well, my motivation is this. I like to go for the truth, even if the truth is uncomfortable. So if I really believe that this thing was destructive, then I would either say nothing because he said it for me, or I would back it up. So ask, why is he doing it? And why he's doing it is the other reason why I'm making the video. The reason he's making this video is because you may be a conservative. You're not aware you're a conservative. You don't identify as a conservative, but you have a particular worldview. And he's trying to appeal to that worldview. That world does not need to be buttressed or backed up by facts. You just know things. And that's what he says in his video. I haven't read any books. I just know. Well, let me tell you guys, books and facts are really great to have because often the world is kind of complicated. So if you look up the facts, you can see trends and you can get a look into the reality that just your lived experience won't give you. His motivation is to appeal to people who are like-minded, not to inform, not to challenge their perceptions, but just to appeal. And a thing that black conservatives will do is that when you have certain ills within communities, poor communities, they cannot say, look, these things are because of the system. These things are because exterior forces. What they have to do is say, look, it's these people. It's absolutely these people. So if, once again, if it is these people and it's the music doing the thing, then why does it affect one group more than another? And why is it that the crime hasn't grown up, the crime hasn't increased along with the popularity of rap music? It's just him basically criticizing an element of black culture. I know you guys probably don't see that. I think a lot of people on YouTube are kind of young, and I'm not trying to dismiss you as saying like you're young and you don't know better. But this is a thing that I've been seeing for decades, and even before I saw it for decades, you can read accounts of this where you have a respectability politics. And the respectability politics will basically say, look, pull up your pants, walk right, talk right, do all these things, and then everything will be fine. I'm going to tell you guys something. Ultimately, you are responsible for yourself, right? You need to take account for your own actions. But do not fool yourself into thinking that there is some magical thing you can do where you will be, if you come from a certain background, if you're in a group, whether it's people of color, whether it's women, whether it's gay, if you are in that group and you're going to be identified for that group, and that's that, you're going to receive certain labels. I'm not saying that you let that limit you and what you try to do, but do realize that you can be as respectable and well behaved as possible. But you're always going to be that thing. There's always going to be suppositions with that. I know that's not a very good message, but I will say it's important to remember that, because if you don't remember that, what happens is you will find yourself in situations where you are treated a particular way and you won't know why. So for you people out there who are trying to say like, look, you're just lazy and you don't know any better and you're ignorant. I even said someone made some comment about my level of education. Sure, man, I have a terminal degree. I don't know what to tell you. Like I really have the highest level of education I can get within my field. I can't go any further. I'll get a postdoc. I mean, I don't know. I already have a doctorate. So I guess I can get another doctorate. I don't know. So I've worked hard and I've been worked within the system, and I've done all right for myself. But I'm not going to ignore the fact that there are things in the system that are designed to work against people. And the reason they call them conservatives, guys, is because they want to keep the system as it is. So the changes that would have to be made in the system, they don't like it. Now, if you want to conserve that system, go ahead. If you want to keep things as they are, maintain the status quo, go ahead. But don't just make up dumb bullshit when you do it. That's all.